the Chinese cannot be as straightforward as possible on their numbers. We got a battle of fight amongst ourselves as opposed to worrying about what in the hell their numbers are.
We have our own issues going on in this world right now. And this is part of the problem that we're having with coronavirus, is that Donald Trump at first ignored the Central Intelligence Agency's assessments that the Chinese had been holding down this virus and that it was going to break out into an epidemic, if not a global pandemic. That assessment was sent on January 3rd. The Chinese do this. We know it's the nature of their authoritarian
they
regime.
lie.
They're communists.
They're going to lie. I mean, I love this here. Oh, my God, they lied. Shocking.
Yeah, but, you know, Donald Trump always tries to play it both ways, right? He wants to suck up to President Xi so that he can be a power player in that world and keep the market stable, but at the same time come out and use racist terms. Look, I didn't have a problem when they cut off air travel from China as part of the initial steps to combat coronavirus. That was fine. It was the hypocrisy of letting 430,000 people fly in from China during the next month while saying on television that you have an actual air ban, which in fact wasn't. He actually allowed 40,000 American citizens to come back, many of whom were infected and provided the initial vectors of this virus out of Washington State, New York City, Washington, D.C., and other places. Donald Trump uses China as a foil because he understands it's for the consumption of his base, who in their cult-like way don't particularly care or think about anything from minute to minute, so that if Donald Trump says that China is bad, then China is bad that minute. If he says, oh, President Xi, we talk and get along very well, like he did on 25 January, while this epidemic was in China was burning like wildfire, that it shows Donald Trump is incapable of doing anything which is even fundamentally honest and, of course, works in the interest of the United States.
And, of course, now we're dealing with them firing a Navy commander because he complained about his sailors being sick. That commander is now tested positive for coronavirus. And then you got the acting secretary of the Navy, who is a complete idiot, who trashes this dude. And I'm sorry, this is somebody who, all he was caring about whether or not his sailors are going to live or die.
Let me tell you. I am incensed over this issue. The last time I was this hot was when Donald Trump pardoned a war criminal and reinstated him back in the Navy at my rank, which is, you know, the Navy Chiefs, which is a very, very honorable rank. It's very hard to get to. This guy had been stripped of that rank, then gave him back his trident so that he could retire with full honors and get his full benefits after being convicted in a military court-martial of several things while accused of war crimes by his own team members. I was pretty hot at that time. I'm going to put this in context for your audience, for those of you who don't know. The Nance family started their service in the armed forces in 1864 when two brothers ran away from northern Alabama and joined the 111th U.S. Colored Troops. One of them, William Henry Nance, then left and joined the U.S. Navy to be a riverine warfare crewman in the Tennessee River Valley. There has been a Nance in the armed forces every day since then, right up to my niece, who is in the Navy now, who was in combat off of Yemen last year. I am a Navy senior chief. My dad was a Navy master chief. My brother was a Navy senior chief, and 4 other brothers were in the Navy. Okay? We take the honor and service in the naval service very, very seriously. This man, the acting Secretary of the Navy, who got the job because the original Secretary of the Navy had some honor and was resigned, then fired by Donald Trump because he couldn't, in good conscience, put a war criminal back into his job. This is the man that took over. And his problem is he executed Donald Trump's hit on a captain who was looking out for 4,000 men and women who were about to be overcome by coronavirus on a vessel which was at sea. In the old days, they would just leave you at sea for 40 days and, let pestilence or smallpox or the plague go through your ship and let the people die. We don't do that anymore. But Donald Trump's response to this letter from the captain was to get him fired. And then once he was fired, when the crew showed their love for him by turning out thousands of them to see his departure from the vessel, Donald Trump got even more angry. And suddenly the acting Secretary of the Navy shows up down there, who, by the way, was a former very junior lieutenant who flew helicopters for a couple of years, then went to Wall Street, then became one of Donald Trump's biggest donors. This man went there to chew the crew out. Well, not really, but to disparage the beloved captain, to tell him that he had betrayed him as Secretary of the Navy personally, and that he was fired for good order and discipline and for disobeying or embarrassing the Navy. This is the man who was there during the reinstatement and rehonoring of a war criminal. So I don't want to hear this from Donald Trump that this was done because, it embarrassed the Navy and that it impacted good order and discipline. We are in a corrupt administration, and every one of these people are corrupt. This guy must resign. He shouldn't be in that job. It's just disgraceful.
Couldn't say it better than that, folks. Malcolm Nance is the author of the book, The Plot to Betray America. If you don't have your copy, you want to get it because all this stuff that's gone down, well, he actually called it before it actually happened. So you might want to pay attention. Malcolm Nance, man, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
All right, folks, we're talking about how to keep you healthy as we're all staying at home. We got people who are eating all day, sleeping all day. A lot of us have no idea what day it is, what's going on. In fact, some people are going like, well, today's Monday. I thought it was Wednesday or Thursday. So it's all been thrown off. So my man, Cootie Mack, a fitness philosopher at Be Your Best Daily, he joins us right now to help us out with some questions to my panel. Y'all get ready for some of your questions. I know y'all at home just like me trying to figure out how can you not walk into the kitchen. Cootie Mack, what up?
Hey, what's happening, man? How are you?
All right, man, this is real stressful for a whole bunch of people because, again, your whole schedule has been totally disrupted.
Yes. I mean, absolutely. And, first of all, it's great to be back in the saddle. Great to see you. It's unfortunate the circumstance that we find ourselves seeing each other is that we're in this pandemic, like you said, and everybody's been all disrupted, and some people have been directly impacted. I have friends that actually are COVID positive, so praying for them. But for the rest of us, we've got to figure out how to sort ourselves within the midst of this unprecedented change, and we've got to make sure that we attack the day with the proper philosophies. We got to make sure that we are fueling ourselves properly, and we got to make sure that we're doing the things to keep ourselves fit.
So, all right, so where do we start? I mean, because, look, I gained weight, I've lost weight, I gained a couple back, now we're trying to lose it again. You sort of have these fluctuations because, frankly, your whole routine, I mean, first of all, if you're going into work, or whenever you typically are moving more, you're sheltered in place, you're really more sedentary, and so your whole being changes now.
That is true. That is true. So the first thing I recommend for everybody to do is just, again, adopt the philosophy for the day. Whether if you're spiritual, religious, pray. If you just want to meditate, you can go on YouTube and find a 5-minute meditation. Just succumb yourself to that 5 minutes, or just simply breathe. But start the day off intentionally with the intention that you're going to do your best to be your best. From there, it's going to be about how you fuel yourself. Because giving yourself the proper food, giving yourself some hydration in the very least. I mean, for some people, drinking water is a revolutionary concept as far as it being the primary beverage. But drink some water, find a fruit, find a vegetable if you're not someone who's into that. I know, like with you, last time I saw you, apples were the things that we were adopting.
No, that's it. Look, I do apples, I do grapes, I do strawberries. But I'm just saying. But part of that also again is but you have to force the routine, because the reality is you're not used to being at home 24 hours.
Exactly. So one thing you can do is break the day up into maybe 2 to 3 hour segments where you say, okay, I'm going to look at what I'm going to do for the next 3 hours. I'm going to make sure that I accomplish something that I need to get accomplished in terms of a task, whether it's work or for your kids, they're studying, or even something around the house that's just been dying to get done, like the lawn or reorganization. Then give yourself 30 minutes to move around, do some exercises, and we can talk about that in a minute. And then make sure you're eating something that will help feed you and pay you back, not junk food. So in terms of going shopping, you want to make sure that, again, if it's only one fruit and one vegetable, buy those in abundance. But like you just said, last time I saw you, it was just an apple. Now we're talking apples, grapes, strawberries. That's awesome. Get some food that actually helps you throughout the day.
All right. So first of all, let's go to my panel. Eugene, Eugene, how are you dealing with this, being diabetic? What kind of questions do you have for Cootie Mac?
Actually, my question was going to be, what foods actually could help, keep the metabolism boosted. For me, I'm still doing everything I was doing before the quarantine. I largely work from home. I have a home office, so it's kind of hasn't been too dramatic of a lifestyle change. But my one question would be, if I were to add anything.
Like what to add that boost metabolism. All right, Cootie Mac, go ahead.
What to add to boost metabolism? So, and you're diabetic, correct?
Yep, he is.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you want to do is, if you don't already eat apples as a habit, apples are a good fruit because although they have technically high sugar, they have so much fiber that your body's glycemic index doesn't really fluctuate with it. I'd stay away from some of the favorite fruits that people like.
Damn, I'm glad you said that. I was just arguing with somebody about that who like, man, watch the sugar in apples. I was like, okay, there's fiber as well. It kills me, all these people, man.
Low fiber like grapes, pineapples, mangoes.
Yep.
Those are the ones you want to stay away from.
So you want to stay away from what?
Cool. Appreciate it.
So pineapples, grapes, mangoes, fruits that we like, but those are not as great for diabetics. But if you're talking apples, if you're talking melons, if you're talking berries, that's more along the spectrum that you want to be dealing with.
So watermelon?
Watermelon is great.
Cantaloupe, melon.
Cantaloupe is awesome.
All right, cool. All right, Cleo, what's your question?
Well, this brother taught me a lot when I last saw him, in terms of what to eat and how to reduce sugar and eat food that had living enzymes, blah, blah, blah. So I've been following his methods and I've been doing pretty well. Good. My concern now is basically having to be home so much is my schedule was very, very busy, and I was very active and walking and doing things, which is why I stay in decent shape. But now I saw some toffee almond chocolate. It looked real good, because of the relative complacency my body is in, and I don't have enough experiences to make me actively do what I know what I need to do.
See, that's the problem. First of all,
I intellectually know what to do.
If it's not
in your keeping the emotions and the intellects in synthesis.
If it wasn't in your house, you wouldn't see it. Cootie Mac, go ahead.
Roland made a great point. Try to get that stuff out of the house. But even with that, what you want to do is, like you're talking about emotion and intellect, but the will it really starts biologically. If your body has what it needs to start, then you won't need to supplement it with sugar or anything else. So that's why it's crucial, like I said, to start the day off intentionally with nutrition. Protein is a good way to start. If you don't have an aversion to dairy, something like 2% Greek yogurt, snacks like nuts and seeds, peanut butter, that's whole peanut butter. When you eat stuff like that, protein takes longer to digest, so therefore protein burns in your metabolism longer. It takes longer to metabolize, rather, and because of that, you won't feel as hungry. And worst case scenario, take a break and just go for a walk. Put your mask on, be safe, but go for a walk, and that will also help you as well.
All right, Pam, question.
What you just described is how I eat.
Okay.
Yeah. The only issue I want to mention is having to be more intentional, as you said, because being relatively bored compared to a previously go-for-broke schedule, it can make you want to be less bored and buy some almond toffee chocolate.
Right. So that's the whole thing. A lot of people
and Roland was
will eat out
correct.
of
If
boredom.
it's not in your house.
Correct. A lot of people will eat out of boredom, and what I need you to do is eat healthy with intention on the outset. Attack it. Be on the offensive with your nutrition, and that will help you. That will help you avoid the temptation of sugar.
You're right. Thank you.
All right, Cootie Mac. Final comments.
Final comments. So like I said, attack the day with the proper philosophy. Make sure that you check out my Friday Finishers on Instagram at Cootie Mac, Kutimack. I've got a bunch of exercises, especially since the pandemic has hit, that don't require any equipment, that anybody of any fitness level can do. There's modifications, and I've got you. You can hit me, bybdfitness.com. I've got plenty of information like this and more, and I'm here to help you. I want you to get through this pandemic safely.
All right, then. Cootie Mac, man, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Man, it's good to be back. Good to see you. See you next time.
All right, we'll do it again. I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications.